I'll tell you a little bit how design engineering started, like how design engineering night started, how we figured out that we need this kind of event. So I think, well, the first thing, my name is Tihan, and I'm a founding engineer at Granola, and I do design engineering myself, but mostly engineering, but design as well. So the thing is, I think post-COVID there were not a lot of like events happening when I moved to London. So I was like looking for a place where I could explore like design and engineering, but I found that it's like quite niche thing. It's usually there were like mostly engineering meetups, and not a lot of them were happening. So I think when I joined Granola, I started thinking, how cool would it be to have an event where people with like both backgrounds can come together and talk about like what kind of things they're working on, what kind of problems they're having, because usually the community that I found is usually on Twitter, so I didn't really like know like faces of people most of the time. I think this event helps us to do like following things. Like first, put people's faces to their Twitter profiles or like profiles on LinkedIn or somewhere else. And second thing is just like a show and tell for designers and engineers and people who are in intersection to show what they're working on, what are the methods, and how they ended up on this intersection. So the format of this is we gather together, we talk and mingle, but then we have 3 speakers. They're going to present today. Amazing people. And by the way, thank you all for making it to this place today when it was like raining and tube strikes and all that. So I'm really glad to have you guys here. So yeah, what else? I think we can start, but the one more thing is Granola is hiring design engineers and product engineers. So if you're interested, find people with Granola badge or just come to me and tell me about it. But also on our website, you can apply. And if you're interested, do that. So let's get started. And our first speaker is Maya, who is a senior software engineer. And I want to welcome you on stage. I saw Maya on the Future of Coding meetup. And yeah, all right, let's just get started.
Hello, friends. Firstly, thank you so much for the invite, Granola team. I'm really happy to be here, and this is also my first design engineering night, so very exciting. My name is Maya Avendaño, and this is me when I was younger. I grew up in the era of Neopets and Pixo, and Neopets was my first exposure to like HTML and CSS and kind of creating my own little themes for my Neopets page. So that is my actual Neopets page from like over 17 years ago. And then I also really loved Pixo, which if you're not familiar with it, it was like a drag and drop website builder. And Pixo at the time made me realize I can make websites to do with the things that I like. So me and my friends had so many different websites for all the little special interests that we had. But yeah, it was a really fun era. I kind of miss like the early web days like that. So then life happened. I grew up, but my creative curiosity stayed with me. Ended up studying product design engineering at Loughborough University. I also wasn't really sure like what I wanted to do specifically in my career. I ended up getting an internship at Siemens in the rail industry, and again, kind of felt pretty lost. I was trying different things out, like project management, business tendering, construction, and even ended up on the Elizabeth Line project, which you should all be familiar with, hopefully. So yeah, that was really cool, and I got to lead a small team of engineers working on the communication and control software. So yeah, super interesting. Then enter lockdown. So I also have ADHD, and I get random urges to follow my curiosities into side quests. And one of my side quests during lockdown was learning web development. So I did 100 days of code and basically doing a little bit of learning every day on Angela Yu's web development course on Udemy. And then 1 year later, oh no, sorry, not 1 year later, about in the middle, I was thinking, oh, this is kind of fun. And I kind of got that clarity of knowing what I wanted to do. I wanted to craft things with code full time. 1 year later, I got my first web development role at a startup as a software engineer. So I think little Maya would be very proud. For the past few years, I've been working for different startups, and I'm currently leading front-end development at ChaseLabs. When I started at Outverse, I also needed to learn some new things. So before I was using React, but I needed to learn some Svelte. And I was thinking, how could I best learn something and use it on my job? And do you know what I realized? I can make websites to do with things I like. And this was a really good way to help me learn a language, but also make it fun. So a couple of my side projects that I've done, I will also show you a bit more throughout the talk, but here are a couple. Firstly is Slack Cats, the emoji directory you didn't know you needed. That's my gift to the world. For the Svelte hackathon, I made this Maya.computer, and I kind of wanted to tap into the nostalgia of, does anyone remember logging in after school into MSN and then chatting with your friends? So yeah, I kind of wanted to relive that a bit. So you can actually go to this link and like leave a little message if you want, and the nudge button will, if you click it, it will like shake the window and make the sound. So if you want to hit a nostalgia, there you go. But today, I wanted to share some of my beliefs about creativity and design with you. So firstly, design is emotional. I started kind of making notes in my little Apple notes, and at the time, this is all I wrote down. I couldn't really articulate what I kind of meant by this until I saw Linear's Conversations on Quality, and there was a talk with Kevin Toohey. And I went to his website, and then I saw this. And he says, "I've come to believe that all great design grows from an understanding of the human experience and is fundamentally emotional at its core. It begins with sensitivity, instinct, curiosity, mystery, imagination. It does not begin in Figma or even on the computer at all. This knowledge is heartening to me and gives me hope." So when I saw this, I was like, yes, this is other words that explains what my beliefs were about design is emotional. So yeah, I believe that design can be felt. I think as designers, engineers, and design engineers, we have a power to influence emotion in the things that we make. So I think also we've probably all experienced bad UX, bad experiences with software. And I kind of, when I'm designing or building, I want to understand the negative emotions that people are experiencing in either existing software or things that are missing, and design to invoke the opposite. And then, where I can, sprinkle in some delight. So an example of this is the ADHD directory, one of my side projects where I originally built this for myself and some of my friends because there was a medication shortage in the UK. And it was, people were finding it difficult to locate where their medication was in stock. Boots had a prescription checker already, but I kind of wanted to see if I can make it less frustrating to use. And I ended up making this platform which helps people find their medication in a lot more areas than the Boots one does. And I also looked at what was missing. And I realized that when you can't find medication in stock at Boots, you have to kind of ring around different pharmacies. And there was kind of an opportunity here to create a big database and make it a lot easier to help people find what's local to them. And I've managed through this project, which is really cool, to help hundreds of people over the UK find their medication. So yeah, I think again, design is a power, design is a gift. So yeah, we can use it wisely. Next, I believe simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So does Leonardo da Vinci, which is where I got this from. So I saw this in the Science Museum in Valencia when I went to visit my friend. And I think it really resonated with me. So in terms of simplicity, I think my way of thinking when it comes to design is seeing it through the lens of simplicity, so distilling things down to their essential forms, and as well as looking like, what can I add to this UI or design that makes it meaningful? What can I subtract to make it more meaningful? So one of my side projects is Radical, and I wanted to see firstly, how we can make calendars less overwhelming, and also it made me really curious about how we can design new and novel interfaces as well. So I think there's so much to explore if we can have a think about how different people think. As a neurodivergent person, this UI makes a lot of sense to me, and from feedback from other people as well, it makes sense to them. So yeah, I think we can get feedback and create some really cool things. On the topic of simplicity, this is one of my favorite books. It's The Laws of Simplicity by John Maeda, and he also has a chapter about emotion and design. But yeah, there's some free excerpts on this website, but highly recommend some really interesting ideas about simplicity. I believe inspiration is everywhere. So I think our creative perspectives are quietly molded through experiences that we have and the things that we see in life, so quite personal. I think our creativity can be strengthened by things like traveling, going to museums, making art. So I've recently picked up like painting, and I realized that I've been noticing more details just like in the world, like how light falls on different surfaces and how things move and stuff. And nature as well. Some web design that I did a couple years ago, I used birds as an example, or for inspiration for like color palettes. And there are so many birds, so many colors to choose from. Also different media, so you might find or look for design inspiration maybe on like X or Twitter or other places that are like design focused, I guess. But we can also look at things like TV shows. So Severance, I think, is a really beautiful example of design. And also Loki was one of my first inspirations for Radical and following that curiosity. So I kind of wanted to see how we can perceive time in like 3D, for example. So yeah, adding new dimensions to calendars. If you're stuck on like project ideas, you can look to your own life as an example too for inspiration. So you can think about your frustrations or the frustrations that friends, family are experiencing, and yeah, work from there. So I was very frustrated. I train Olympic lifting as well, and I find it very difficult to calculate the bar, the plates that I need on the bar. So yeah, I made this little side project that can do it for me. Less brain work during my gym sessions, and it's now also used by my weightlifting club as well, which is kind of cute. I believe that creating is play. So when I was designing the slides for this, my immediate thought was Lego, to try and explain my thoughts on this. So I think there's different ways that we build things. So for example, you've got these Lego sets which have like instructions, and then you build from the instructions. But you can also take the building blocks essentially, and then just see what you come up with. And that can kind of give you more freedom and potential for innovation, I think. So another one of my hobbies is dance. So I've got another analogy to explain my thoughts on this. So with choreographed dance, you kind of got these set moves to follow, which I've likened to choreographed creation. So kind of a linear approach with having like a prescribed design and then building it. But there's also freestyle dance. And this is where you listen to the music and you follow what feels right in your body. So with freestyle creation, you can listen to your intuition, your design intuition, and follow what feels right. Freestyle dance sometimes is messy because you're experimenting, and that's good, because messy as well in design and creation. It's lower cost, so you're probably more comfortable to experiment and kind of discard things along the way. With freestyle dance, you can explore your limits and discover new pathways and movements. So freestyle creation, I kind of like to also design whilst in code, and you can try different things on and find your limits like that as well. And also potential to, again, discover new things and, discover new elements. And finally, this is one of my favorite beliefs, I think. And I believe that community strengthens creativity. This is another one of my favorite books, Tiny Experiments. And she says, if you participate with genuine curiosity, a community can impact your path in unexpected ways. You join with a specific benefit in mind, but the relationships that flourish unlock opportunities that might have once seemed outside the realm of possible. A writer might meet a developer, and together they start a profitable startup. A student might connect with an industry veteran who becomes their mentor. You may discover new interests or business ideas. The people you meet can become collaborators, clients, employers, or advisors. And I'd like to add to that, friends. So it's events like these that strengthen creativity. When I come to these events and like tech meetups, I get inspired by others. And I really believe that sharing your work can kind of set off like a ripple effect. So you can plant seeds in other people's brains, and you can get the seeds from other people too. So yeah, I think it's great that you're all here. So a community-inspired project is my last one I'm going to show today, and it's called Orbits. And I was finding that attending all these events, I was meeting all these cool people, and I really wanted a way to remember everyone that I meet, and also remember things about them. I also have a lot of interests and hobbies, so I have lots of orbits, and I also was finding that when networking in person, I was kind of a little bit tired of like sending out different links, so I made it one link. So you can have a public page, and you can attach all your socials to this, and you can scan it with a QR code. So I usually just like keep mine on my phone. You'd be like, here you go. So if anyone wants to come see me after and connect, feel free. So yeah, they are my creative beliefs. Hopefully I've planted some seeds for you today. Yeah, thank you so much.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Sam.
I'm curious, you have so many cool side projects there, like how do they come about? Like, is it like you have an idea, you sit down, you batch it out in one session, or do they tend to be like slow burn type things where they take a long time and you try lots of things?
That was a great question. A mixture, actually. For Radical, I had some little sketches on just like my Post-its on my desk, which I kind of neglected for like a year, probably. I also bought the domain, and I realized that the renewal was coming up. I was like, oh, I should probably start something. Yeah, and then other things, like the ADHD directory, it was over Christmas, and I literally got the first version out in like hyper-focus, like a few days. So yeah, it's a real mixture.
Cool. More questions? Yes, please.
That was actually my question, but I have another one. Out of those principles, what is the most important one to you and why?
Ooh. I think community strengthens creativity is probably because it's been the most impactful for me. I think without the human connections and the inspiration and motivation from the people around me, I don't think my projects would have got as far. Also, being able to get feedback from people helped accelerate my side project growth a lot as well, so yeah.
Any more questions? I have a question actually. Like, I get that you do a lot of projects. How do you finish them? Like, I also do. I also do a lot of projects, but I got nothing to show on the slide. So like, what's the formula?
I don't think they're ever going to be finished. I think for me, I've learned that trying not to be paralyzed by getting messy versions out has been a good formula for me. And I think through the accelerators I've done as well, getting like the toy version out first, getting that feedback, is a way to kind of get to that first milestone. Because I think that is so hard sometimes as well. But there's kind of like a bit of a relief when you get the first version. Kind of like fear as well. But like, yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you.
Break is over. Come back to your seat. We're starting. Okay, so let me introduce our next speaker. His name is Oleg. I follow Oleg on Twitter for quite a long time. He has like crazy cool demos in spatial computing, we call it these days, I guess. So yeah, if you don't follow Oleg, subscribe to him. He has like a really cool Twitter account. So yeah, Oleg, welcome.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me. And yeah, today I'll be talking about essential math for spatial computing. Oh, entire screen. This one. Yeah. Lovely. Thank you. My name is Oleg. I'm a designer / engineer with a focus on creating interactive experiences for AR, VR, also known as spatial computing, and I work at Live. Second. Okay. Sorry, there's technical issue. Yeah, there's a Google Meetup. It's okay. Let's stop presenting. Okay. Sorry. This is my deck. Okay, this is my notes. Nice. Okay, let's continue. Again, sorry. This one, yeah, it should work, right? Oh, lovely. Okay, don't touch it. Okay, I love experimenting with interaction design, exploring new ways of how we can communicate with the machines and with other people through them. My favorite medium is AR, VR. I love that it allows you to turn your own body into an interactive input, and also it's very, very fun. When I create spatial interactions, it's not only UX design problem, it's also a technical challenge. How to convert what you have in your mind into precise instructions that your computer would understand. And to do this, you need math. What kind of math? The math is a bit of linear algebra. Sometimes people call this subset vector math, and as the name suggests, it's a math about vectors. What is a vector? Let's first have a look at 2D space. To place an object in the space, you set some values for x and y, like this. Then you can use these numbers to specify the position of a point in the 2D space. And if you draw an arrow from the origin of the space to the point, you get something that might be called a vector. It has two main properties, direction and magnitude. You can create many of them. Depending on your framework or engine, there's different ways how you can create vectors. In this demo, I just randomly spawn generate vectors with random direction and random magnitude. By the way, this type of demos will be available on my GitHub, and I'll share later, so you will be able to explore all these demos made in Unity. What can we do with them? With the vectors. Essentially, there are two main things we can do with them: addition and multiplication. Like this. Let's talk about vector addition first. When you add one vector to another, you apply addition to each of its components.